Hey y'all, happy Sunday. I went to go turn mute off and actually turned it on, realized it was already on or off, whatever. I had just gotten ahead of myself. But happy Sunday, y'all. Welcome to the hallway life. This has been a crazy day. When I tell y'all your girl is committed, I am committed because I have had so much going on today. This day didn't go not anyway how I planned it, but everything got taken care of. I was able to meet all obligations, but yeah, today has been a day. But you know what? When I have days like today, I can still smile like I'm smiling now because it just makes me feel good because I'm like, I did it. I did it. I pushed through. I got it done. I didn't give up and everything's fine. And y'all know me and my worst case scenario thinking, if at the end of all of it, nobody died, we're good, right? So it has been a good day. And the thing is, even after this today, I ain't done. No, I am not done. But we're going to show up because what? What is it, y'all? What is it? What is it? What is it? It is March Madness. So welcome to March Madness, the Hallway Life edition. And so I am your girl, Stay Hall. I am a transformational speaker, a published author. I am his wife, as well as a certified emotional intelligence and soft skills coach and all the things, because I have to remember to introduce myself because there may be new people. And who are you?
I am Wallace Hall.
Dr. Wallace Hall.
Dr.
I don't
Wallace
know
Hall.
why he'd be trying to trip with that doctor because that stuff ain't free.
Yeah, I am a motivational speaker. I am a published author also. I am her husband. And
I'm her.
Yeah, she is her. And we're just a couple out here trying to live life and enjoy the best way we can and share it with others.
Right. And so how has your day been today, Wallace?
It's been pretty straightforward. A lot of administrative stuff to do today. Let's put it that way. It's been a long day. I've been working on stuff since about, I guess about 11:30, 11:45, somewhere in there. And just about wrapped up with it. So it's just been a long administrative day running business and having a couple of things and just living life. Boy, it's just things can add up. And so you end up trying to get a lot of stuff taken care of. And yeah, like I say, with this entrepreneur life and the way things kind of go, you never really stop. You always just sometimes you're always on the clock, but it's been a good day. It's been a good day. Probably could have been shorter if I wouldn't have watching as much basketball as I was watching.
Oh, because I gotta say, do you think your day's been as tough as mine has? Would you say? Do you think you've done as much work as I have today?
Yeah, I know I've done much work you've done today. I know I have, but
let me see. I see we have some comments. Hey, Deborah, thank you so much for being here. I didn't even have the comments on. I'm so busy messing with him. Hey, Nikki, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, y'all, I don't think Wallace has done nearly he said, oh, it probably wouldn't have been quite as busy, or I could have got more done if I wouldn't have been watching as much basketball. Y'all know how much TV I've seen today? Zero. Zilch. Zip. No TV.
Well, I'm good at multitasking, so I can look over and watch a couple plays or rewind to a certain play. And
I haven't been here, dude. I've been out and about, so I couldn't multitask.
You've been riding around with the top down, enjoying the day, this beautiful day out here that God has made. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been out here
in the office on the grind.
No, today has not been a 50-50 day.
Meeting and greeting and sipping on Chablis. And
what is Chablis? Is that anything like Ripple?
And I just been here on the grind. That's all I can tell you. I've been on the grind.
He been here doing nothing, filling out paperwork. Ain't nobody thinking about that. But anyway, y'all, I'm sure y'all did not tune in to hear us bicker, but you probably did. It's entertainment, right? But we did a poll, or I did a poll the other day on my channel about what y'all wanted to talk about, because I'm going to be live every day. And so I didn't want to just be talking about what I thought, and excuse the squeak in the back. That's Lux. He probably ain't squeaked that toy all day.
No, yeah.
But soon as he see us occupied, he's just like a regular little kid. As soon as he sees us occupied doing something else, he has to try to get our attention. So excuse the squeaking in the background. But I did a poll on what y'all wanted to talk about, because again, I'm going to be live every day. And I didn't want to just talk about what I thought y'all might want to talk about. So I threw a couple of ideas out there and we did a poll. And the subject, right, squeak, squeak. And the subject of living life as an empty nester is what won. And it was a real close race between the empty nester life and also about a content creator and how to get brand deals and things like that. But the good news is, for those of you who are also a member of the Tea Unit, the Tea Sippers with Miss T with the Tea, she coincidentally reached out to me yesterday and wanted to talk about how to brand yourself as a small business content creator and kind of something similar. So I will be on Miss T with the Tea outside of the chat and up on the screen with her on Tuesday, talking about how to brand yourself and getting your media kit together and things like that. So you're going to end up getting both anyway. Hey, Almost Homesteading. Thank you for being here, Janet. I appreciate you so much. Hey, G Mama. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just love seeing y'all faces in the place. And thank you for those of you who tuned in with me yesterday on my country ride live. Wallace was driving and his dad was up in the front with him, so he didn't get to really interact with y'all too much because I was in the back seat with Lux. But yeah, he was there taking me through the country and hitting every pothole and every dip, and yeah, showed me every cow and every horse. And yeah, it was good.
You enjoyed it.
I did. I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. But anyway, so today we are going to talk about navigating life as an empty nester. So for those of you who have been with us for a while, you already kind of know our situation, but just to catch those of you who haven't up to speed, just the condensed version, Wallace and I are kind of like the Brady Bunch. Wallace had 3 kids. When we got married, I had 3 kids. Wallace has 2 girls and a son. I have 3 sons, and our kids are about the same age. My youngest son is the youngest of everyone, and he's the only one that's not really close in age to anybody else. But the rest of them are kind of in pairs. Just about, I think they're the exact same age, the rest of them or whatever. And so we met through Wallace's only son and my middle son. They were friends in high school. And at that time, when Wallace and I first got married, I want to say my Nunny Butters was like 8 or 9. And
I guess Jasmine would be the only one that's...
Well, she's kind of by herself, but she's still closer to the middle boys than she is to Nunny. So yeah, they're pretty much about the same age. But we had what did you say? Cant Stop. Oh, Cant Stop is in here. Hey, Cant Stop. I was like, what is that comment Nikki made? Cant Stop walking. But then I saw Cant Stop was in here. Hey, Cant Stop. Thank you so much for tuning in. And so when Wallace and I first got married, again, the only really young one was my Nunny Butters, Ian, who will be 22 this week on the 27th. But at that time, he was about 8 or 9. And the rest of the kids, I think everybody was at least in high school. Mm-hmm. And so we quickly went from having all these kids or whatever into empty nester because everybody was on their way out almost since day one. And what we realized is there is an adjustment and a difference in life. And I know with a lot of my life coaching clients who are either just entering that or about to enter that season in their life, a lot of them are very scared about it. And some of them who are in it are really feeling like that loss. And so I thought it made sense to talk about it because I feel like we navigated it pretty well and we're loving it. And it's not as scary as you think. And so we wanted to talk about that today. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, empty nester, it's cruise time. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And that's funny because I was not a big fan of cruises or even like I love to travel, but I had never been on a cruise. So I've traveled and been to, all different types of places, but never was really interested in being on that water. But Wallace convinced me and surprised me with a cruise for my 50th birthday. And it is right up there with one of my top vacations. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, please be sure to hit that like button. When you're in here. I know sometimes we forget because it's a little different with long form content. We're kind of accustomed to doing it when we're scrolling through TikTok, Facebook, you kind of Instagram, you hit that like, but when you're watching long form content, sometimes you forget. So I appreciate you for asking everybody to hit that like button. So just wanted to talk about the empty nester syndrome. So the first thing I want to talk about, and then I'll turn it over to Wallace, is because I know he's going to remember this. When we first met, I had been a single parent for a while. And so I had my 3 sons, and people tease sometimes and say that me and my 3 boys were kind of like a cult because they are so much like me. They thought that their mom hung the moon. Our personalities are very similar. And it was just us. It was like the 4 of us against the world. And that's just kind of how we rolled. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I needed that in my life all the time. So the thought of my boys ever leaving the home, not living with me, like I couldn't even wrap my mind around that. Because again, when I say that my kids are like me, they're so much like me. Like they never brought a bunch of kids home. It was always just them. And so, you know, they're just a lot like me. And so they were cool just being home with their mom. We did things as a family. I would celebrate Valentine's Day with my boys. I would take them out to dinner and, you know, we just did our own thing. They were very into sports, and I'm a tomboy of sorts. I played sports growing up. And so it just wasn't difficult for us just to kind of exist in our little bubble. And so I used to say, I never want them to leave. And so when Wallace and I first got together, I told him my vision of like having this compound, like, I never want the kids to leave. I need to be with somebody who is okay with us getting some land and everybody kind of having their house on the same land, because I want my boys to be here forever. And Wallace was like, the devil is a lie. We're not doing that. Like at some point, you're going to see the benefits of letting these kids spread their own wings. Like you're going to be doing them a disservice if you plant that seed in their mind that they have to be with you forever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like, what do you mean? And he was like, look, if that's really what you want to do is they start to leave, we can look into that. And he's like, but I don't think I love my kids any less than you love your kids. And I'm with my kids all the time as well. But I'm looking forward to the time when they're able to go off, do their own thing, and I can be able to have my life and do some things that I maybe couldn't have done when I was completely responsible for these kids. So I was like, I don't know. So what did you think when I first said that, Wallace? Because I didn't want no parts of empty nester.
That you were too motherly or too attached. Let's put it that way. You know, I just look at it from a point. You want to get to a point where you're allowing your kids to be their own people. You know, they can go out and live their own, because you sacrifice so much in your life through day in and day out for them. And now since they're gone and you know they're able to take care of themselves, it's time for you to live your life, you know, and enjoy yourself, because you've, like I said, you put your life on pause to make sure they were good. So that was one of those. And when you made that name, you said that to me, I'm like, why?
Oh, thank you, Cant Stop.
I was like, why do you feel that way? You know, it just, to me, it just kind of, I don't know, people feel differently about that. And I was like, man, she is way attached to her kids like that. You know, I love my kids. Trust me, I'll die for my kids, but I want them to be able to be sufficient, independent, self-sufficient rather, and be able to take care of themselves and do the things they need to do. You know, and I was, you know, one of the things, the conversation I had was about, you know, humans really, we're the only ones who really make our kids super, super comfortable to stay there. You know,
birds just dump them on out. That's the empty nest.
If you look at like eagles would take the nest and flip it over so all the thorns are sticking up, so the baby birds can't come back to that nest. But humans, we sit here and make it comfortable for our kids to stay here. So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You know, they need to go out and be able to take care of themselves.
Hello, manly advice, say it, brother. Well, this is what I ended up finding out.
Can't stop.
Because the thing is, if you would talk to any of my girlfriends, they think that I am very manly, thought forward. Like they feel like I'm like the epitome of act like a lady, think like a man. My thing with my kids is what I realized is I was never the type of person that had to be with my kids all the time. Can't stop giving you just all the praise, all the accolades. But I was never that type of person where my kids had to be with me all the time. If they wanted to go with somebody else and I trusted whoever they wanted to go with, if they wanted to do something and I had researched it and, got the confirmation and I felt like it was safe, it was fine. I never had a problem going and traveling on my girls' trips and leaving the kids behind with a trusted, person to keep them. Like, it was never about being in their presence all the time, because anybody who knows me knows I'm not like a real kid person. It was me and my crew. Like, I was never going to be that friend to call on a Saturday and be like, hey, I'm taking all the kids to the movies, or I'm taking all the kids to Chuck E. Cheese, or I'm taking all the kids skating. No, I'm never going to do that. I used to tell my friends back in the day, look, you called and you asked for my kids because you going somewhere. Do not expect me to return that favor. Now, I might be able to do something else, but I was never the Kool-Aid mom on the block. However, I realized that over time, that my motivation for wanting my kids with me all the time and not wanting them to move away was actually selfish. Not because it was just like, oh, I need them with me all the time. It was about my anxiety. I knew as long as they're with me, as long as they're within eyeshot, as long as I know their every move, then I don't have to worry. I was afraid of them going off to different states, doing different things, and me. So again, it was very selfish. It was me trying to keep myself in a comfort level of, I know where they're at all the time. I know what they're doing, so I can feel free to do what I need to do without being worried about them. I thought that once my kids left the nest and start doing their own thing, I wasn't going to be able to enjoy life because I would be in a constant state of worry.
But when you know they're okay, that's the whole deal. Why we got to do the things we do to get them, to give them the right structure, the right mindset, the right attitudes, and things like that about life. We do the best we can, and then you say it like this: you set them free. And
Yeah.
you try to you instill as much stuff as you can in them. You try to share them, share about pitfalls and things to watch out for and how to conduct themselves in life and be productive citizens of society. But you have to be able to let them go and let them lead their lives so they can find out themselves, and you pray that everything works out. And like I say, you let God handle it from there, and so you can't be in that constant state of worry. But when you know you've done all you can, there's nothing else you can do about it.
Yeah. And so I had to realize that, because it was like, is my desire just that I don't think that I have a life without these kids, or I can't survive without these kids? No, I was just protecting myself from worrying. Now, I have to say, when my first son left and went to college, I was not able to even go on the ride. We live in Texas. He went to college in Oklahoma. So that's like, what, how far away? Maybe 3 hours away or so.
Yeah, 3 hours.
So he went to Oklahoma, and I wasn't even able to go on the trip to drop him off. It was just like, no, go, don't look back. Just leave me. I'll be fine. Yeah, very dramatic, very dramatic. But that's how I felt for real. I couldn't even go because I thought it was going to be more difficult to leave him once we got to Oklahoma than it was for me to let him leave. So he went. And I was sad for a couple of days or whatever. But what I also realized is, once I saw he was acclimated, he was doing his thing, I was good. Don't laugh at me, G Mama. I was so, I can't do it. It's going to break my heart. But once he was acclimated, and the thing is too, he was also a college athlete. So he stayed busy. He had a very structured college life, and I still had 2 kids at home. And so it didn't take long for me to kind of get to that. And then I was making it to all of his games, so I saw him a lot. They didn't have FaceTime and stuff yet then, but we would do Skype. And so I got to see him, and so it wasn't that bad. My second son never went away. Everything he did was here. His career was here. And so I didn't have to go through that transition. His only thing was just him moving out of the house, but he only lives about 30 minutes from us. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't a big deal. And so then, but the other middle son, Wallace's biological son, my bonus son, my Jacoby One Kenobi, he also did not go away. He went to college here, and he was only about 15, 20 minutes from home. And so I'm very close with Jacoby as well, but I didn't have to go through it. But why did he, after the first year of college, then decide he want to go to the military? Mm-hmm. I almost lost my mind. He decides to leave college because he said he was tired of being broke. He was tired of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to basketball practice, having to go to class, have to make good grades, then go to basketball practice again in the evening, and still have to text us for pizza money. He was like, something about this ain't right. And so a good recruiter got a hold of him and showed him how he could do all the things he loves, get his education, play basketball, which all ended up being true. It has been a phenomenal choice for him, but talked him into going to the military. And he was not a military kid. Like, he wasn't in ROTC. Wallace wasn't in the military. His grandparents had been, but I was just nervous for him. And then when he left, went through boot camp, and they shipped him off to Korea. Yeah, that was tough for me. It was tough. But again, once I saw he was good, he was acclimated, because that kind of tore on you a little bit too, though.
Yeah, it did. Just a matter of, you want to, you want them to be gone and be independent, but you still like to be able to reach out and touch them sometimes, put it that way, in case something goes wrong, you want to be able to be there. But him being in the military, because they did his basic training in Georgia and his ATI, one of those.
AIT, I believe.
Yeah, he did it in Pensacola. And then he was off to Korea. And, I can get to Georgia and Florida just in a matter of, few hours. Plus, we have a lot of family in that area. So everybody's really about 5-10 minutes away from where he was at there. But Korea is a whole nother story. So, I think it was an 18-hour flight.
And boot camp was hard for me, too, because we couldn't have any contact. So when we dropped him off at the hotel, the night that he was officially like enlisted and going to boot camp, that was hard for me. So I had him in the corner with the talks, like, you really ain't got to go. Like, at any minute, if you decide this ain't what you want to do, you just give me the look. I'll put you in the car. We can go home. He's like, look, I already swore in, whatever. I belong to Uncle Sam. Now I'm like, look, you don't know your mama. If you want to go, we can go. But he was sold out. Hey, Chrissy, how are you? And so G Mama says, I was like that when my middle son left for the Marines. I totally understand. Yeah, it was hard because one thing, when the other ones went off to college, and even when he went off to college, I mean, even though he was right there, you still can have that contact. It's not like back in the day, you got to wait for a letter. But when he went off to the military and he was like, yeah, y'all probably aren't going to hear from me from 6 weeks. But they did have a Facebook group for his platoon, where we were able to watch, and we'd be able to point him out in some of the pictures and whatever. But then that was the thing too, watching him on Facebook, but not being able to see or talk to him. And then we're starting to notice the changes in him. They cut off all his hair. He was getting thinner. And then they're talking about the different stuff that they're doing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they doing to him? And we still can't talk to him. And it's just like, he's getting skinnier and skinnier. And I'm like, oh my God, he's not eating. It's like, yeah, he eating, but he also doing a lot of running, a lot of walking, a lot of everything else. And so, slowly but surely we got used to it. And he has had an absolutely amazing career in the military. So proud of him. He met his wife in the military. They're now expecting their first child. So it's been great. He definitely made a good choice. He making his money. He still got to play basketball in the military. So everything he was told was true. Oh, favorite couple. Thank you so much, girl. We just sitting here talking, doing what we do. Hey, Tim, thank you so much for being here. Yes, smash those like buttons, smash the like buttons. Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, but what we realized for us, and I think for a lot of people who are, just entering that empty nester stage in their life, or just seeing that it's only a year or so ahead, I think what scares people the most, outside of just that, like I said, not being in constant contact, not knowing what they're doing, and the anxiety, it's also that you've been used to being someone's parent for so long. You've been used to being responsible for someone else for so long that everything you do is just about them. You go to work and come home, and it's all about them. And it's kind of like, once they leave, who am I?
Remember, you were kind of accusing me of being a not as involved parent, because, I'm like this, if they're going to their friend's house or they leaving out or something like that, I'm just like, okay, I'll see you later. Just let me know if you need anything. Stay's actually going out interviewing people who they're riding with. She's asking all the questions about who's in the car, make sure people got insurance, driver license. And she's saying, I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. She goes, don't you even care? I'm like, yeah, I care.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the kids at all. He did not care about the kids at all. I would come home and, nobody would be here. None of the boys are here. I come home from work, whatever. I'm ready to cook. And he's like, oh, you don't got to cook. I already had a sandwich to just get something for you because the boys are gone. Where they at? I don't know. Jeremy came over and they said, well, how long they going to be gone? I don't know. Where they going? I don't know. I'm like, how do you do that? And he was like, they got to learn to live life. They boys. They know what the rules are. We got to trust them to have good friends. I'm like, well, do the friends have a driver's license? I don't know. I guess so. They had a car. They pulled up. I'm like, what kind of parent are you? But I have to say that even though I don't agree with his practices, everything was always okay. And I know that's always not the case either, but it did help me so much with my anxiety. So his poor parenting did help me to let go of some of the anxiety, because if I'm home and they're going somewhere, oh no, I need to know, who is this? How long have you known them? Where are their parents? Have I met with the parents? Is their car inspected? She going outside to
yeah,
I'm talking to them, all the time. Cant Stop. Okay, thank you so much, Tim, for dropping the links. Y'all know, yes, we are family. Please follow one another. Deborah said, my only child went to join the Air Force and got to the office, and they promised him started to change. Oh, everything they promised started to change. The sergeant major family friend to drive up and get him. He came home and doing well. Well, I'm glad. And I hear those stories a lot. That's why I make sure to say, with our son, everything he was promised happened, because I know that's not always the case. And so that was a blessing for us. Yeah, that was his answer to everything. I don't know. I don't know. And he be happy. He just happy they're going. They good. They good. I told them they be back. I'm like, do they got money? I don't know. They ain't asked for none. So I guess they
once
good.
Once again, I instilled in them, or I poured into them all they needed to, as much as I could, to help them out in life.
Tim, I think we're going to have to block Cant Stop. Cant Stop is doing way too much. I got my moderator in here, Cant Stop. And so he doing way too much agreeing with Wallace. So
Cant Stop is on it.
Tim, I'm gonna leave it up to you. But if you think we need to block Cant Stop, we may need to do that. Yes, his very poor parenting. I would tell him that all the time, and then I would tell the kids that. The kids would ask me to do something. They'd be like, "Well, Dad would let us." I'm like, "Your dad is a poor parent. Your dad doesn't care about y'all. I love you." Like, what do you mean? My youngest son, just yesterday, y'all, who is not his biological son, but we've been together since he was 8 or 9. So, and I say biological just because that makes sense for this story that I'm about to share with y'all. And this is true story, just happened yesterday. I'm on the phone. And the thing is, we do good co-parenting. And even though he'll be 22, there's still, you're always parenting. And so.
Thanks, Tim. I know what I got you, bro.
Ian's biological father is still in his life as well. We co-parent. Him and Wallace have a good relationship, whatever. And so I was on the phone with Nunny Butters yesterday, and he said something to me about, he tried to call me or something. And I said, whatever. You called your dad first, talking about his biological dad. I said, yeah, because that's your favorite parent. And I was just doing that mama guilt thing. Like, yeah, well, that's your favorite parent.
I won't let him block you, Tim.
So now keep in mind, this is Ian and myself, my biological son, and me mom guilting him, telling him that his biological dad is his favorite parent. Why did this boy say, well, if truth be told, and I really got to pick a favorite parent, Mr. Wallace is my favorite parent. I'm like, what? Now, of course, I love the fact that my sons love and admire and respect Wallace. But how you gonna call him your favorite parent? I'm like, yeah, that's because of all that haphazardness.
That's how I pour into him.
That's what that was. That's what that was. But that just happened last night, and he is 22. Let me see. Okay, I'm sure all the laughs are at me, right? Oops, I was getting ready to congratulate Wallace. Now, Tim, block yourself. Put yourself in time out. He did it the right way. He did parenting as a man. Yeah, and I have to say, no, you got to block yourself, Tim. But I have to say, Wallace did teach me a lot about parenting. I was like, all over the place with parenting. I can't even say all over the place. I was just from one end of the spectrum to the other. I was either like, woo, 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 yes, come be with me, or I was very, very rigid. And so Wallace did teach me that happy place in the middle. And that's just how my personality was in general. I was a very black or white person. So I do credit him for that. And he taught me the art of discipline, because I wasn't really good with discipline, because I never wanted the kids to be mad at me. However, if they ticked me off,
they'll be all right.
My discipline was like, you're not allowed outside for 10 years. And Wallace was like, you don't want to say things to them that you're not really going to, because you don't want them not to be outside for 10 years. And so he did teach me the art of.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about anybody being mad. I was always like, they'll be all right.
Yeah, so he did teach me that. I give him credit for a lot when it comes to the discipline and things like that. But yeah, he ain't never know when them kids were. Let's see.
Hey, J3.
Hey, J3. Thank you for tuning in, because he did his job, Pastor. I guess he did his job. Yeah, that's what Tim need to do. Oh, J3, yes, it's J3's birthday. Come on, y'all. Let's all put a happy birthday in there, and let's sing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, J3. Happy birthday to you. Woo! You only came in on every other word back. Yes, happy birthday. Yes. Girl, I be trying to do a little something once in a while. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
You should have sang yesterday. My Andy's there. Everybody else was trying to sing. Well,
oh my gosh, yeah, we had a family outing yesterday,
but, people were attempting.
Yeah, there was some dude there that. Now, first of all, I don't know who this dude was. I'm sure he was some kind of distant family member. Cousin Wallace and I didn't know him, but he was going around the whole party, y'all, yesterday, introducing himself to everybody. And so me and Wallace standing over there like, oh Lord, he gonna come over here and introduce himself to us. We don't know who he is. He ain't never tried to introduce himself to us. Why ain't he like us? So you know how that is. At first, we ain't want to talk to him. But then when he ain't want to talk to us, we're like, well, why don't he want to talk to us?
Yeah, he's a distant cousin.
He had talked to everybody but us. He had talked to everybody but us.
We didn't look cool enough to
I guess not, because we over there like, oh Lord, he gonna be on his way over here. No, he never was. He still ain't come talk to us, and we back home. Mm-hmm. But he was singing. He was over there. What do you do when people are singing? What's your thing? Ooh. That's what Wallace said he was doing. Ooh, that's why every time Wallace talking about somebody singing, he said he was over there. Ooh, ooh. I don't know what that is. Maybe he was intimidated by you. Maybe, I don't know. I prayed that was it. I don't want to intimidate nobody, but I do want it to exude. He knew those.
Silly.
He knew those kids were. He just did show. I guess so. I don't know.
Martin at first, then Fred Sanford. So yeah.
But anyway, so that's where we were with that. So Wallace has taught me a lot. He showed me and allowed me to realize that much of my issues with not wanting the kids to leave were because of my own anxieties. He also taught me that you have to trust yourself, right? Your parenting, you raised them, the things you've instilled upon them. And he also had to trust. He taught me to realize that whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We can't control everything. And when he was saying, like my son Ian, unfortunately, was hit by a car when he was in second grade. When he was hit by that car, he was still living at home. I knew where he was at all times. I literally worked for the school district that he went to. He was hit by a car in front of the school, in the school zone, by a substitute teacher. So he was like, you see things like that happen. Wallace has had incidences with his kids where certain things has happened. Jacoby, and I don't even want to mention it because he's going to end up crying on the live, but Jacoby went missing at SeaWorld. He was at SeaWorld with the entire family. Everybody was paying attention, but that little boy decided to run off and whatever. So he was like, things will happen whether they're with you or not with you. So you just have to trust yourself first, that you did a great job and showed a great example as a parent. And then you have to trust that they took it in. So that helped me a lot.
Let me share something also. do a lot of volunteer work with our local police department, the Fort Worth Police Department here. I do different stuff. So I always, when I'm able to speak in front of parents and even kids and whatnot, I always tell people, get to know your neighborhood police officer. And like my kids all had business cards of police officers. So that's one reason why I wasn't really too worried about it, because they knew who the police officer was and the police officer knew me. So I always tell them, if you get in any kind of trouble, give them this card. They will contact that police officer, that whether it's a deputy chief, whether it's a sergeant, whoever it is, a captain.
Name drop.
They had that, and they will contact me if you get into any trouble. I was fortunate through all the boys, all the girls too. No one ever contacted me, but they knew they had that just in case anything went down. They could give them that policeman that card, and they were going to contact me, and we were going to go from there. So I say, no, don't do anything else. I was encouraged, get to know your local neighborhood police officer.
Yeah. And it always, made me feel good too, that those were ongoing conversations in our house, and not to ever make y'all think that, we just have boys, because we have 2 girls as well. Mm-hmm. However, the girls never lived with the 2 of us. And so that's why I talk about the boys so much, because first of all, girls and boys, there are differences in how they move and whatever. We didn't have the same concerns with the girls. The girls wasn't running the streets and every other day somebody different coming to pick them up or whatever. And they didn't live under the same roof with us. They were with their mom. So it was just a little bit different. So I never want y'all to think that we only cared about the boys or it was only the boys. It was just the dynamic, because again, we were the Brady Bunch. And so Wallace and his son, we all lived together with my sons, but the girls lived with their mom.
They was out of the house anyway too, so.
Yeah, and they were a little older. Yeah, the girls are older. Maybe, this one. My daughter lost herself at an air show when she was very young. Oh my God, so scary. Some kind person took her to a safe place where we retrieved her. Those kinds of things happen so quickly. Yeah. Oh yeah, and his situation was similar. And then it happened to me one time, Nikki, let me tell you this crazy story. I lived in Virginia Beach for about 8 years before I moved in Texas. And I lived 15 minutes from the beach. And y'all know I love the ocean. So my boys had swimming lessons very early on because we were at the ocean all the time. They've never been afraid of the water. And so my youngest son, Ian, wasn't born yet. And so my 2 older kids, which were, both under the age of 10, under the age of 8 at the time, we were at the beach. And so I've been watching them. I'm fixated on them. I'm there with, a couple of my cousins, but their kids are out there too. So we're talking and we're looking at the kids, looking at the kids. And they had their rules of where they couldn't go by. They understood the current, all that kind of stuff. But all of a sudden I look one time and I don't see my oldest son. And so I'm looking, I don't see him. And so, now I'm standing up, I'm walking towards the water. And I'm in sheer panic because I get all the way into the water and I still don't see my oldest son. It was early in the day and we had been there for a long time. So the lifeguard, because I always made a point of setting up camp close to the lifeguard station. That was just always my plan. Get there early so I can sit close to the lifeguard's station just in case. And so the lifeguard sees me panicking and he actually notices me before I even acknowledge him. And he's like, ma'am, your son's not in the water. I've been watching him. He's not in the water. He's not in the water. And I'm like, what do you mean? If he's not in the water, where is he? Because he's not with me. And so my youngest son at the time, who's my middle son, he's trying to tell me, and he was only like 3 and he's grabbing me and trying to talk to me. And I'm like, no, baby, go sit down. And I'm panicked and I'm going into the water, going. And my youngest son is trying to tell me and I'm paying him no mind. But thankfully, my cousin ends up kind of taking my younger son because it's all kind of chaos now. Now the lifeguards are out there, but they're still trying to reassure me, we're going to look, but your son's not out there. We've been watching the kids. There's not a lot of people out there. Nobody's been in distress. So my cousin takes my younger son to the side and hears him out. And he's like, Denzel went to the bathroom. And so what happened, y'all, is my oldest son ended up getting a case of what they call the bubble guts, and felt like he could not take a second to come tell me, and he didn't want to have an accident. And so he had run up to the bathroom at the Dairy Queen on the boardwalk, because that was always the bathroom that we used and what he was used to. And next thing you know, within a few minutes, that's exactly what happened. He showed up. he had been to the bathroom. And I'm like, don't ever do that to me again. And he was like, well, I didn't want to have an accident. I told Kylan to tell you, who's going to listen to a 3 or 4-year-old? You need to come and tell me. But yeah, that kind of stuff can be really scary. Let me see. Wow, I live close to the ocean in Delaware. Virginia Beach is a couple of hours. Okay, yeah, Delaware, not too far at all. It is important to know someone with authority. I was friends with the district judge who came and did his talk for me. I was a single mom for the first 8 years. I was blessed with the male support. Oh, I'm so glad.
Real quick on that, Deborah. I coached AAU basketball for roughly 17 years. So we had an organization, I think we had probably like almost about 200 kids are part of our organization. And we always involved the police, different authority people to come in and talk and speak. And like I say, pass out business cards and things like that. That way kids see police in a different light. They see authority figures in a different light. So they know they are here to help. So yeah, that's great. Doing that. And I encourage all parents to do things like that.
Yeah, it is important. Hey, Big Rooster. I was telling Big Rooster the other day when he was jamming, you walked in the room. He was like, is that Big Rooster?
So you were killing it, bro. You were killing it.
Yeah, y'all need to follow Big Rooster on TikTok. Rooster, put your handle in on TikTok. I don't know if it's the same because you pop up, now in my feed. So I'm not sure if it's still just at Big Rooster or whatever it is. But hey, Amanda. Hey, sweetie pie. Thank you for being here. And so what else was I going to say? Dang, something had just popped in my head. Y'all know as quickly as it comes, it goes. But anyway, so we've talked about a lot of stuff leading up to being an empty nester. But let's just talk about actually being an empty nester, because that's what we all here for tonight, right? And so it's something to prepare for that I don't think a lot of people do actually prepare for. For me, it wasn't quite as much of preparation, except for getting out of my own head and getting out of my anxiety. But I can't put it in a moderator. Oh, no. Yeah. Tim will put it in for you, but I want you to put your one in for TikTok. Can you put that one in, or does Tim need to do that as well? So I just want people to make sure they follow you, not only on YouTube, but on TikTok as well, so they can be jamming with me when you be mixing and scratching and cutting it up. But anyway, is like preparing. So everything in life needs a certain amount of preparation. And I think the way sometimes we get caught off guard and how anxiety and different things can play in, it's because of a lack of preparation. Oh, okay, he got you. Thank you so much. Y'all teaching me how to navigate these YouTube streets. I've been doing this forever, but not like this. So I appreciate y'all. I learn something every day. So it's being prepared. And so for me, it wasn't a whole lot of preparation because I had already been an entrepreneur. I was always someone who was very creative, involved in different organizations and things like that. But for a lot of people, that's not the case. Everything that they do revolves around family and their kids and being, PTA mom or being the coach on the little league team or whatever. And they don't really have their own identity. I didn't really have that issue, but I know a lot of people do. And what I would like to lend to you is once your kids get to high school, start getting in touch with who you really are outside of being mama or daddy. Once they enter in that freshman year of high school, I need you to then put yourself back in the mindset of when you were a freshman in high school and start thinking about what types of things you were interested in, what kind of things you wanted to do when you grew up. Start thinking about the things that you put on the back burner because you were raised in a family, and go from there and try to find similar things now in your adult life that you can do to actually be involved and have some of those childhood dreams come to fruition. I had one life coaching client who I had go through that process, and she was like, well, Stay, when I was young, I wanted to be a princess. And I am 45 years old now, and I know I can't just be a princess. But through that work, what we ended up finding out, I talked to her what was it about being a princess that really attracted you? And she was talking about the clothes and the tiara. And, she talked about Cinderella and the glass slipper. You know what that led into, y'all? First, her being a stylist for other people. And then her owning her own clothing boutique and selling formal wear, because those were the things that she was really passionate about. So even if in your younger years, you want it to be something that's not a true profession or a true hobby or a true side hustle, there's probably still something about whatever it was that really interested you as a young person that you can still make happen in your life. And like I said, don't wait until the kids are gone and you slip into a depression and you feel like you no longer know who you are because your only identity is mom or dad. As soon as those kids enter high school, because they're well on their way to independence, then start thinking about that.
One of the things on that, just kind of piggyback what you're saying there, is when you're sharing this stuff, and this is not with the Enemy Nester, this is a little bit just in life, you got to give some people who think like you do. Mm-hmm. First we're talking about being on this entrepreneur journey. People that are entrepreneurs would think the same way you do. If you talk to someone who is not an entrepreneur, who doesn't understand that life or doesn't understand how to forward think or to expand your mind or different stuff like that, they'll be like, oh, like she was saying with the princess, oh no, girl, you can't do that. Don't even get that. Just forget about that. Let's talk about something else. Mm-hmm. But if you get somebody who can help you expand upon that, and that's when it can develop and blossom into something that's beautiful that you really want to do and go there. I like to say, being the princess, I say, go buy your tiara. Party City, sell them all day. Get you one, walk around, get you a scepter and walk around your house all day, just not the other thing we talked about.
I know, don't.
But be a princess and but like I say, but have those conversations with people that think like you do. Mom and dad, sometimes aunties, uncles, cousins, best friends, if they've never been on an entrepreneur journey or a forward thinker like that, or someone who can think about those things, they're gonna take it down, gonna knock you down and tell you to forget about that. But you got to be around people that think like you do. And like say, us being like we are, we, like she said, get back in that mindset of what did I want to do when I was in high school? And because I had kids, I had to put stuff on pause. Bring that stuff back. Go ahead and do it. What's stopping you? What is stopping you from doing that and living the best life possible? And that's what it's all about. Finding ways to live your best life.
Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for tuning in. And something that let me see. There's another comment before I start running my mouth. About to message my husband. Hey, Mr. Hall said I should get a tiara and a scepter. Yes. Yeah. Do that. Yes. Do that. But here's the thing.
You're a queen. Do that.
A lot of times too, our friend group and the people that we socialize with are usually people who are closer to our age. And so with the whole mindset of thinking about empty nester, nowadays people are having kids at all different ages. I have a friend who didn't have their first child until they're 50. I have other friends who maybe had a couple of kids, but still had another child when they were 45 or whatever. And so they still have small children. Yeah. And so instead of focusing on your age group, start surrounding yourself with people who have kids who are the same age as your kids, so that you can kind of go on this journey together. Because if your good girlfriend, her youngest child is 7 and your youngest child is 17, she's still going to be full mommy mode for 10 more years and you ready to be out of there in 1. And so you want to start surrounding yourself with people who are in a similar situation as you are, so that you all can lend that support to one another. And so that's something I had to learn too, because I was always the youngest in my friend group. And I don't know why it was like that, but I always felt like, oh, my friends need to be older than me or my same age for us to have something in common. But your age doesn't necessarily determine what you have in common. So while you're on the PTA, while you're being the soccer mom, while you're being the dad who is, coaching a little league, start making friends with those people who have kids who are your same age, so y'all can support each other through that journey.
Yeah, well, y'all be like, hey, they calling me.
What does that
Trying to get back out there, and, trying to get that back out there.
Oh my goodness. The other thing is too, and our kids, oh, wait a second. We got a Okay, this is so funny. I was just on the phone with my son. He was trying to get off. He was like, Mom, go listen to your friend Stay. She on live. That is hilarious. I was like, I know, but I'm still going through the process of him not at home. He said, go listen to your friend Stay. That is hilarious.
Like remember when Ian first left?
Oh, yeah.
What did Ian
Good
tell
night,
you?
Tim. Good night. Thank you so much.
What did Ian say to you? Mom,
oh my gosh. Yes. So my son really tried to play me. When Ian first left home, I would call him all the time. I would check up on him all the time. And then if he didn't answer me after a couple of times, I would send him text. Like, what's going on? I called you twice. You're not answering. Why did that boy call me and try to break up with me? It's talking about Mom. You've got to stop doing this. I'm like, excuse me? He was like, you cannot keep calling me that many times in a day. You have got to let me go. And you know what? You ain't have to tell me twice. Once he said that, my little feelings was a little bit hurt, but I'm like, clearly he's okay.
I tried to prepare.
Good night, Ken. I was saying good night to Tim, and now Ken pops up. Hey, Ken, how are you? How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. I was saying good night to Tim because he said 3 a.m. come early. Yeah, I can't even imagine. But yeah, he tried to let me down. He was like, first of all, Ian got us when we took him to school. We're taking him to school, getting him unpacked, all the things. And we're thinking, okay, well, we're here for the weekend.
We're in Kansas.
We're in Kansas and we're looking at, the good restaurants. We want to take him to get some meals and do all this stuff. We ended up eating by ourselves every night we were there. And he's like, can y'all just bring me something back? He made friends immediately. And that's the thing. Don't worry about these kids. What they say, F them kids. They good. They good. They go on about their business. They make their friends. I'm like, I didn't even have to stay up here the whole weekend because Wallace and I could have easily set him up, dropped that stuff off, and got back on the road. But no, it's me. No, I want to stay the whole weekend. I want to make sure he's acclimated. I don't want him to feel like we just dropped him off and deserted us. That child did not eat one meal. I think I may have forced him to eat with us the last night before we left. But other than that, he was like, oh no, me and my friends, your friends, you just got here today. What do you mean your friends? And Wallace is like, that's good. That's good. He's fitting in. And I'm like,
I was ready to get back on the road. We could have dropped him, say bye, and I got back on the road, but she wanted to hang around the whole weekend.
We done got a hotel. We up there in Kansas, ain't much going on. We done became regulars at the little restaurant right there, and we only there for a week, and they like, hey, stay in Wallace, because what nobody else in there. But yeah, they're good. You have to trust yourself, and then know that that is your time. So just tap into whatever. That is your time to travel. That is your time to start your business. That is your time to take a deeper dive into your career. Whatever it is, just know that that's your time, and it is absolutely 100% okay. It's the circle of life, as they say. And so we raise these kids, they go on about their business, but don't let it get you into a depression, and don't feel like you've lost yourself because you have dedicated 20 years, 30 years to raising kids, because that is an unbelievable accomplishment. But once it's over, and that's okay as well. The other thing I wanted to talk about is don't be afraid to take your house back.
Yes.
Don't feel like you got to leave folks' room set up. Don't feel like you now have to be storage. Don't feel like you're a bad parent because, let's say, maybe you change a room into an exercise room
or an office,
or an office, whatever it is.
Our kids, you take their stuff off the walls,
right? You start taking posters down. It does not make you a good parent to leave rooms set up just the way they left them. It doesn't matter. What makes you a good parent is you have parented people to the point where they're able to be self-sufficient. That's what makes you a good parent. Don't let them guilt you into thinking that you're horrible because when they come home, they have to stay in the guest room because their room is no longer set up the way they left it. We have some folks that's still mad at us, and they almost 30 years old, and they still mad because we done took down the Drake and the Jordan posters and have set it up for
put
us.
all the trophies and awards away.
Yeah, my house
storage.
has been decorated with nothing but basketball and what's the other thing that he was doing? The cross country.
Yeah.
You know, collecting dust around here. It's like everybody's gone. We put the stuff in boxes. And guess what? We also let them know that even though we were not charging anything for storage, they were free to come pick up their junk
anytime,
whenever they wanted. Because, you know, as parents, we feel that obligation to hang up every little thing they do, make sure that everything is on display. Now, I don't know about y'all, but, you know, I don't know how to be anything else but 100% candid and transparent. I ain't never think that stuff was cute. I ain't want that stuff sitting on my mantle in the first place, but because I love you and I'm your mama, I'm going to let it sit here. No, there was nothing artistic about that little finger painting that you did and that little ornament that you made for the Christmas tree or that little turkey that you made for the centerpiece. But now that you are grown, I am no longer obligated to do that, and it is okay. Wallace and I had a bedroom in this house for every single one of those children. They all had their own rooms. They all were able to decorate them the way that they wanted to. And we literally waited until everybody was gone to start transforming those rooms. Take your house back. When you start doing things like that and start transforming your home into a place that is no longer necessarily kid-friendly, when you decide to maybe remove the microwave and put in a wine fridge or whatever you want to do, that will help you get over that hump too. Because as you start doing those things, taking your house back, remembering the vibrant woman or man that you were before you dedicated your life to these children, something is going to click in your head. You are going to remember who you were, and you are going to love every minute of it. Hey, Lacey J, how are you, boo? Hey, I watched your vlog either this morning or last night, I think, and I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. I cannot wait until Lacey J's house is done. I know how that is. There is nothing fun about living through renovations and repairs. So I'm glad that it is on the way to being accomplished. So yeah.
With the kid thing, I'm like this. I love telling my kids, I love coming to visit you at your house. I love you. I love your stuff being at your house, not my house, your house.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines. Like whenever they come here and complain about anything, like they'll come and open up the refrigerator and like, oh, y'all don't have nothing here to eat, or y'all don't have this and that. And I don't like this and why. And I'm like, you know, where you don't have to worry about any of this. And they be like, I know, at my house. Yes, at your house, because this is my house.
I'm also that parent. When I come to my kid's house, I go in, looking in the refrigerator, leaving the door open, leaving faucets running, going there and taking batteries out of remote controls. I just go in and just be doing crazy stuff that they used to do at the house. They used to get on my nerves. So guess what? They're like, what are you doing, Dad? Oh, just making myself at home.
The way you did at my house for 20 some years. But yeah, just, you know, start taking your house back. Start taking your long bubble bath. Start, you know, blasting your music on the music you want to listen to. Just start doing those things and putting yourself back into that mindset of before you had kids. And I'm telling you, you get used to it a lot quicker than you would think to, because then you think you would. Like, I love my kids. I love when they come visit, but I also love when they go.
Yeah.
It's just things just hit a little different. And it's almost like
y'all see this growth? Because in the very beginning, she wanted them just to be here. But now we're at the point, hey, I'm ready for y'all to go back to your spot.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, how long are you gonna be here? Because you just remember, like I said, I tell y'all all the time, it is about what you are most comfortable with. None of us were born parents, right? We were born ourselves. We are who we are. We had years and years to figure out who we are. And then we have these kids, which kind of forces us and puts us into a different mindset for a while. And so you forget who you are. And not to say that you're not a mom or you're not a dad, but again, none of us were born a mom and a dad, but I was born Stay. And Stay had a certain mindset, certain things she liked, didn't like, but I sacrificed a lot of that, put a lot of that on the back burner, and I had kids. And so after the kids, Once I allowed myself to go back to who I was before, it was very easy for me to slip back into that. It's like, oh yeah, this is what I do. This is what I like. Because again, like I said, you have the braces, but unless you put that retainer on, those teeth are going to go back to where they were most comfortable. And so the kids were my lack of retainer. And so I was doing something different. And once that retainer was off and those kids went, I was able to slip back to who I originally was. Yeah. How long you gonna be here? Yeah.
Your flight Tuesday? Okay.
He is texting me now saying, "Mom, you here? Stay. I'm good. Do you?" He was my baby, and I'm trying. Yeah, and I'm telling you, they be cracking me up trying to break up with us. My son was like, his exact words were, "Mom, we can't keep doing this." Like, what in the soap opera drama is you talking about? We can't keep doing this. Like, boy, please. But they want to keep doing it whenever they need Uber Eats or they need a cell phone bill paid. And then they get mad. Like, oh, we've even gotten from them. It's like you forgot I even existed because I took your poster off the wall and put a treadmill and a weight machine in your bedroom. That means I forgot you ever existed.
I always say my Zelle activity don't say I've forgotten you. Yeah. My Zelle activity say you are very much still in my life.
Right. That part. But yeah, you just have to remember who you were. You need to embrace it and just don't let yourself slip too long into those, sad thoughts and, oh, I'm going to miss them. And, oh, again, just remember who you are. You weren't born a mom. You weren't born a dad. That was a job and a task and a great part of your life that you were blessed with, but that's not who you are. Just like I tell people, don't ever say, oh, I'm just a secretary or I'm just a teacher or my little business. You don't want to discount those things, but you also don't want to say, I'm a mom. All I've ever been is a mom. No, you're much more than that. Mom is great, but there's more. I have grandkid toys now taking up the space that I can't get rid of.
We know that
as soon as they hit the door. Girl. Yes, those grandkids, they come through like a hurricane. My house can be like in model home status, but like you said, within minutes and stuff. But you know what? Lux ain't no different. This puppy will have toys strewn from the back door to the front door. But the only difference with him is if I put him away somewhere he can't get him, he ain't gonna mess with it. And I don't know what Wallace and I were thinking getting this puppy, because he's kind of cramping the style of the empty nester. But I'm telling you, empty nester is a good place to be. You want your nest empty. I thought, was you going to say something?
No, I was laughing on that.
I thought he was going to say something. But yeah, your nest is like that nesting period for anything other than us human beings was always created to be something temporary. You build that nest. That nest is a place to nurture. That's a place to teach, for them to grow. And then you empty the nest. We're always surprised and amazed, right? When we walk around and see a nest built in the tree or in your gutter or wherever they decide to build it. It's something of awe. We look at the nest and we're like, oh, wow, we got a bird's nest, and we'll watch the development. And why are we so shocked about it? Because there's not nests in every tree all over the trees, because they build the nest, they do what they got to do, and they destroy it and they move on. And that's just the way life is. I will be the first person to tell anybody.
Now that'll preach right there, but
what?
I'm not going to preach on that right there.
What?
This is not a home. It's only temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary. And the thing is, I am always in awe of nature. I say animals are more intelligent than human beings all day long. I tell Wallace that all the time. Animals are so intelligent. Like, we got this little puppy and we have been able to train him to understand things that we say. He understands sit, he understands come, he understands stay. He can bark all day long, every day, and we have no idea what he's trying to tell us at all. So that in and of itself lets me know that animals are smarter than us. And just the way I love watching animal stuff, like the Serengeti, you know how they always living with their head on the swivel. Like, I could not do it. It's very much high gang activity in the animal kingdom, but that's a different show for a different day. But animals get it right. They get it right, and they don't let a lot of emotions be involved. Yeah, I love my grandkids, but I love them even more when they leave.
Yes, that part.
All right, 9 of them. Oh my goodness. We got 3.5. We got 3.5. So there are 2 girls and a boy, and then the next little boy
Boys
is
on the
due
way.
in July. So yeah, they be here. If y'all were on my last live, y'all saw all that foolishness. Only one was here and keeping up all that racket, running around with the dog. Y'all saw the little puffball going everywhere. Yeah, them grandkids are a trip. But yeah, it's like the circle of life includes letting your kids go. Because we got a lot of life to live, and we were not put on this earth to raise kids for 50 years. So,
but I've heard that, just growing up and other things that, once kids, you're here for parenting. Once you kind of get your kids out there, then your life kind of ends, and it stops right there once the kids start moving
you're just
out.
waiting to die.
Yeah, that's not what life is supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to live your life now. Like I said earlier, live your life to the fullest. You can do some of the things that you always want to do: start a business, travel the world. And I tell everyone, God has created a beautiful world. We've traveled around this beautiful blue marble a couple times, and it is some beautiful stuff out here. Beautiful people, beautiful scenery, beautiful cultures. It's just stuff that for you to explore and just get to know, and it expands your mind, and things like that. So yeah, it doesn't just stop when your kids grow up and move out the house. Your life is really just now truly beginning. And God, like I said, God's created a beautiful place for us to get out and just get out and travel and see some different stuff.
And also, like with your relationships, oftentimes, parents even kind of grow apart as they're raising kids, because you got your job, you got your kids, and all you ever talk about is your jobs and your kids and your bills. So again, I am a big advocate for staying ready so you ain't got to get ready. So just like I said, when your kids, your last one, starts to enter into high school, that's a good time to just check in with yourself of what you want to do moving forward. Don't let it catch you off guard.
Start planning for their exit.
Right. And so if you're in a relationship, if you're married, that's the time to check in with each other, start dating each other again, start getting to know each other again. Having that conversation like, look, little Nutty Butter is about to be out of the house in about 3 years. And I know, it's been great parenting with you, but I want to start getting back in touch with who we really are as a couple. If you're a single parent, that would be a great time to start dating, because I know, especially with us women, a lot of times we don't want to date a lot when we're still raising kids. We don't want to be introducing new people to our kids, because there's no guarantee how great a relationship might start. We don't know how long that relationship is going to go. So a lot of people are very apprehensive about seriously dating. But I'm telling you, them kids get to be in 9th grade or so. They ain't paying you no mind anyway. So go on and bring Mr. Bob over to the house for dinner or whatever, because they ain't going to remember them no way. They got the earbuds in. They talking to the friends, playing their games. But start dating again. Start
Mr.
building
Bob. Something else I want to say on that. Parents, just think about this. It's so awesome when you can just go out and get something to eat and no one's calling you, asking you when you're coming home.
Mm-hmm.
No one's calling, asking you, are you going to bring me something back?
Yes.
The relief of not having to answer to anybody else, instead of, I'll be home when I get home. You ain't got to worry about none of that. You're just enjoying life.
Enjoying life. Go on those vacations that, were maybe too expensive to take the whole family on, or maybe you didn't think the kids were going to be interested. It's a whole new world, and it's something to embrace. It's your opportunity. And especially for those of us who started families early, because for me, I've been raising kids. I had my first son at 20. And so I didn't really even get to live life until now, because I've been somebody's mama since I was 20 years old, and 20, that's young. I was still a kid. And so I'd be damned if I was going to let this half of my life also be the same way. Like, no, I have a lot of things I want to do, and all of us have so much that we have to offer. Like, don't let the world miss out on you because you're so stuck in your head that parenting is what you do. And
one of my clients started volunteering, because he was him and his wife, they had gotten to a point, the kids had moved out, and we just kind of talk about just exploring new things. He goes, I just need some things to kind of do some things to keep me busy, and doing some stuff. So we came up and just talking about stuff. He goes and volunteers once a week. I think he drives the bus for an older assisted living community.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
once a
taking
week,
them on their little
trips and stuff. He said he just
Yeah.
gets the greatest joy out of doing that. Him and his wife, they go and volunteer at the center together and help out. I think maybe one day a week. I think that's what it is. But they go and do that, and they just have a ball. And they say they got just a new lease on life, just helping other people.
No kids yet, late bloomer. You ain't a late bloomer. You blooming when you're supposed to, but learning so much, trying to figure out how to navigate when the time comes. Yeah, girl, just live your life. And that's the thing too. You talk about late bloomer. You bloom when you bloom. There's no time frame on any of it. Because like I said, I have a friend who literally had his first and only child when he was 50. Like no such thing. However, my thing for you would be on the flip side, girl, you live your life. Do all the things. Do all the things. Don't be worrying about them future kids. Like I said, F them kids, F them future kids too. When they come, you'll be ready. You have everything you need. You're going to be an awesome mom. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. You can't plan for it. They're all different. They're all crazy. It doesn't matter how many classes you take, whatever. You're still going to drop them once or twice. I mean, it just happens. So the bottle's going to be too hot sometimes. Don't worry about it. But live your life, do all the things, especially, if you're having a kid later in life, take advantage. I cannot teach, preach, speak it enough. Enjoy the season that you're in. Don't worry about the season before. Don't worry about the season that's coming. Enjoy the season that you're in. So if you're going to have a child later in life, that's fine. Do all the things now. And I know you do a lot of traveling. You got some traveling coming. The business, everything with the short film, which I'm still waiting to hear more about this short film, Lisi. Now you've been putting a little bit out there, but I want to see some more about that. But yeah, just do all the things. So then when that child comes, you're fulfilled and you've done things. So yeah, I mean, it's either end. So consider yourself an empty nester now and do all the things that you maybe won't be able to do once baby Lisi come. Laughing at me. Yes, I was married at 18, son at 21. Yeah. So you were still a kid. Enjoy the season that you're in. Got to keep that in mind. Yeah. Whatever that season is, I tell people, whether it's the season of singleness, whether you are in a season of transition, you're in whatever it is, just enjoy it. I feel like we miss the mark so many times because we focus our energy on things that are not in our control. We're so focused on the next. We're so focused on where we want to go. We're so focused on the future. We miss out on what's happening right now. I am big on just being in the moment, because not to be morbid or drab, but it doesn't matter what age we are, what season we're in or whatever. We all know tomorrow is not promised to any of us. There is no age limit on sickness and death. There are people getting sick and dying in younger and younger ages. And again, not to be morbid, but I just want to be totally honest with you that you can miss out on so much in life and cut yourself and sell yourself short by only focusing on what's to come and what you're trying to get to, and not embracing and focusing on where you are right now today, because that's the only thing you got is right now. No matter how much you're trying to put into that future. And I'm not saying not to prepare, because I'm all about, like I say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, but you have to do it, I guess, what's the word? Maybe in moderation. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. I have no idea really what to call this season, but I don't want to miss it by trying to get to the one before or rushing to right. Yeah. And and sometimes we're just in a season of discovery, right, Amanda? That might be what the season is. But or not Amanda, I'm sorry. I'm Janet. That might be what season you're in, just a season of discovery and just trying new things, but just don't allow that constant what's next. I'm trying to reach this goal. I'm trying to reach this goal. You already know the goals you're trying to reach. And as long as you're intentional about that and you are doing everything that you can to get to those goals, that'll work out itself. What does the Bible say? Or at least I know they preach about it. Like tomorrow is going to take care of itself.
Yeah.
Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about the things of tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to take care of itself. You worry about today. Anything else? I think I'm caught up on all the comments. So, yeah. So, thank y'all so much. This has been a good conversation. We hope that we have been able to impact or help somebody. But yeah, I forgot. Wallace.
We didn't get to do it last week.
We didn't do it last week. I forgot about his new segment. And I done forgot what we said we was going to call it. I hope we wrote it down somewhere. See, that's what happens when
something in the hallway.
Oh, yeah. Lacey, you remember what we was going to call? You young. Do you remember what we was going to call it? What is tomorrow's live about? Girl, I don't even remember what tomorrow's live is about. That is horrible. I have everything written down, but I don't remember. But it will be going up tonight or first thing in the morning with the kind of save the date thing or whatever. But I don't actually remember. But come on, let's do the questions.
Okay. I got one for you. These little funny little date questions. You know, we talked about the interviewing and stuff like that, kind of getting to know each other. Here's one. If you could have a theme song, and y'all can put this in the chat also, just for you.
Of course, y'all can ask us questions as well.
If you could have a theme song play whenever you enter the room, what would it be?
What would yours be?
I got a couple, but my favorite is one, Return of the Mac.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So if I could have a theme song, it would be I was born by the river.
That's a theme song?
In a little tent. Yeah.
I thought you wanted it for your intro. The Drake song.
The Drake song. Oh, you got it, girl. You got it, girl. Yeah.
No Guidance by Drake and
that too. The clean version.
Yeah, the clean version.
Yeah, you got it, girl. Not really the clean, but yeah, the clean. But yeah, I was born by the river would be my theme song now.
I was born by the river. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
Go ahead.
What's the most hilarious prank you've ever pulled off?
I'm not a prank person. Okay, so y'all know one time this was a prank. Now, this was back in the day when I was in elementary school. I was quite this girl is on fire. It annoys your husband. Oh my gosh.
That's a nice song,
that
though.
Girl is on fire. Yeah. But when I was in elementary school, it was in the fall, and I'm from the East Coast, so there's a lot of leaves during the fall. And I saw a hat down. You know how you can have the little steps that go down to the basement area of a business. And so I saw a hat on top of the leaves. And for whatever reason, I decided to tell my teachers that I had seen a dead body down at the bottom of the steps. And they were too scared to check. So they ended up calling the police, and we ended up having the news there and everything. And everybody thought that there was a dead body at the bottom of the steps going to the basement outside the building in at Locust Grove Elementary. So I guess I would say that was the biggest prank, even though it wasn't intended to be a prank. I just did it because I was bad.
Oh yeah.
So what's yours?
I do pull pranks.
Yeah, he likes to pull pranks. Pranks almost get him knocked out.
I guess one I think is one of the funniest is the one I played on Bree, our oldest daughter, one day. I had left the house around 12 o'clock. And she was at school. She came home. She get home to about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I placed a stuffed animal above the door. It got kind of wedged. So when she walked in her room and the door opened, the animal would fall down. And so she came home from school and she went walking in there and opened that door and the animal fell. And neighbor said you could hear her screaming outside. Well, I thought that was just so funny.
She's also known to put Vaseline on the toilet seat. Yeah.
Fart spray.
Oh, yeah. Y'all. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he's horrible. He forgot me for like 3 days every time I would go into the bathroom. And I was just going into the bathroom just to pee. And he would come in there and spray this nasty, stinking spray under the door. But I didn't know. And so I'm in there going to go pee, and it just would smell horrific. And again, I'm only peeing, so I'm not expecting any stench. And it took about 3 days, and I finally had to tell him, babe, I think I need to make a doctor's appointment because my pee just smells horrific. And I'm like, and it's really been worrying me. And I've been Googling and the things that they're saying that could be happening to me because of this smell of my pee. And he felt bad. He was like, babe, I did not know. I thought you just wasn't smelling it. How could I not smell it? But again, I was just so nervous. I didn't bring it to his attention. And here I am thinking that my whole insides is just rotten. Yeah, he's horrible. He's horrible. Don't laugh at him, y'all. He's horrible. He's horrible.
Yeah, that was a good one there.
Yeah, he was so apologetic though. He was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Girl, I had been Googling. I had been asking Siri. I have been everything, WebMD. And you know, you go down that rabbit hole, they pretty much say, oh, you're going to die tomorrow. Because the way that stuff smells. And I'm like, I'm drinking my water. I'm taking what in the world? And yeah, that's what he did to me, y'all.
Here's one last one. What's the most ridiculous fashion trend you ever followed?
I can't call it ridiculous, but
because you thought it was in fashion then?
I don't know, if y'all know this about your girl, but I am a record holding track star at my old high school. And yeah, your girl was kind of fast. And so I decided that I was going to do the whole FloJo thing and cut only, wear the one leg tights. You know how FloJo would have the one leg tights. And so, I was good. I was breaking the records. I was doing my thing. So I decided to cut that one leg off. And one of my friends who was older than me, that used to come to our track meets. So an alum of my high school start calling me Flo Slow instead of FloJo because of my so I stopped doing it. And he was like, oh, what's up, Flo Slow? And I wasn't slow, y'all. I was winning. But yeah, I think that was the most ridiculous fashion trend. What about you?
I'll say the oversized suits for a few years ago. The preachers and the basketball stars, celebrities.
Oh yeah,
everybody's wanting the big Steve Harvey
them
suits.
Steve Harvey suits.
But the craziest one that I did was I don't know if y'all remember, in the back of those suit jackets, it was vented. And I had bought this suit, and the thing in the back would the material in the back would come out the vent sometime. So it looked like I got a parachute. So I was preaching one day and up, really into my sermon, kind of going through it. And a brother kind of reached out and said, hey, bro, I just pushed your suit back in for you because it looked like something was coming at your back. This was in front of about 200 people. So
I'm telling y'all, when I first met him and, we first got in a relationship, I'm saying he looked like he had on his daddy's clothes all the time. All his suits was 2-3 sizes.
But I thought I was killing it though.
The giant shoulder pads. Yeah, they were trying to make a comeback, but I don't think it quite made it. But yeah, all his suits was too big, Nikki. Everything. He had the wide legs, the big jacket, the vent. So
with the gaiters.
Now and later gators. But yeah, and he again Jethro Bodine. So this East Coast girl had to whip him into shape. So he thought.
I was.
Not at all. But I saw potential. Y'all know that song, Beyonce, partner, let me upgrade you. Yeah, that's what I did. Up. Yeah, you got upgraded.
I did.
Very much.
I'll admit it.
Very much so. He had no style whatsoever. Like he had the FUBU jeans with Fat Albert on the pocket and all kind of stuff when I first met him.
You had your name written on the butt of your jeans. Remember that?
Oh my gosh.
That's the fashion trend I thought you were going to mention.
So when I was in high school, my cousin Adam, he played professional football. And at this time, he was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. But he also played for the 49ers, got his Super Bowl ring with the 49ers. But at this particular time, he was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. And we had gone to the game, and this was like, in the late 80s, early 90s, whatever. And that's back when the graffiti jackets and all that were in style. And so my friend Chris had made an outfit for me. It was the jacket and the pants. And so I had, this was in the heavy D days. So I had on one leg of my pants, boys, and then the other leg, they love me, down the back. And then on the front, one side said no stranger. Then the other side said to danger. And then all this other stuff. But across my butt, it said stay, right? And so we're at Three River Stadium. If any of y'all are familiar with Pittsburgh, it was before Heinz Field, but we were at Three River Stadium at my cousin's football game. And I'm walking around, of course, thinking I'm cute. Probably had a French roll, bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair. I'm rolling around the stadium and everybody is like, stay. And I'm just waving. I'm with my cousins and ain't nobody saying nothing to my cousins. And I'm just waving the air. Stay. What's up, stay? I'm not thinking nothing of it. And so I ended up, I'm like, yeah, y'all need to roll with me because everybody in the burg knows stay, whatever. And then, my one cousin had to bring it to my attention. She said, yeah, it's probably because your name is on your ass. I'm like, oh, that part. So yeah, that was a fashion faux pas. Yeah, the French roll. Hey, wellness, how are you? But yeah, I mean, the outfit, I hate. That's the thing too. So many things from back in the day that you don't even think about, but I don't even have that outfit anymore, and I wish, because it was handmade.
But you talk about it with such fun. This need to get remade, I guess.
I know. But yeah, my friend Chris made it for me. I mean, and it was hand painted, real authentic graffiti. But I was definitely down at Three River Stadium thinking I was the belle of the ball because everybody was calling my name. And, my cousins let me make it for a minute. But then when I start talking smack, I'm like, yeah, y'all just need to hang with me because everybody in the burg knows stay. And I'm looking like, where I know them from? Where? Yeah. So, yeah, I can't say that was a fashion faux pas, but, it happened.
Life.
That's life. Live and learn.
That's it. I think appreciate a lot of fashion trends from back in the day. We look back, especially when we look back through old pictures and stuff. We're like, man.
Y'all, look, I got this old picture of me yesterday that was texted me. So I used to, which Wallace likes to tease me, I was on a drill team when I was younger, and we did a lot of parades. And this one was from 1988. That's your girl Stay, 1988 in the parade. Y'all see, couldn't even wear my hat regular. I got my hat cocked to the side, got my little shorts on in parade rest, ready to go homestead. But yeah, that's your girl Stay. So it was so funny. I got this text to me yesterday, and it took me back, and it just kind of reminded me of when I was hosting that event the other day. One of the questions were, what would you tell your younger self? And of course we can think back, but I got this picture yesterday and it actually brought tears to my eyes because I don't see my younger self a lot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is young Stay. So if this was 95, y'all, I was like 14 years old. 14 years old, had no
85.
I mean, didn't I say 1985?
You said 95.
Oh, well, 85. I was like 14 years old. And the real thing that got me is looking at this face, I clearly see all 3 of my sons. And I sent it to my youngest son because he's really like into like the old school stuff, nostalgia. He has my graduation picture as my screensaver or whatever, or my profile picture when I call him. And so he loves like knowing about back in the day me, but he texted me back when I text him and he was like, you look like all 3 of us. And clearly that's all 3 of my sons in that face. So, thank you, Nikki. And that's the thing too. Thank you for saying she cute. Cause I've shared with y'all before with Love Yourself First explicitly. I grew up feeling like the ugly duckling. I just did not feel like I matched up to my cousins and my sister and everything. And so now I love the fact that when I can look at these pictures, when I was probably feeling the ugliest back then, now I can look at my old pictures and I'm like, yeah, she cute. What was wrong with me? But it's just, again, and that's a different show for a different day as well. But just the things, that happen and the things that you're told, and you compare yourself to other people and you don't know that self-love. But that's kind of what brought tears to my eyes too, to know so much how this young girl was struggling. I thought I was too tall. I was, too skinny. My lips was too big. I was just, because I'm a tall girl. I'm 5'8", 5'8.5". I've been this height since I was in 6th grade, taller than all the boys, taller than all the teachers. And, these lips that people paying for now, You know, they was saying I had soup coolers. I had a big forehead. But now I look at my pictures and I'm like, girl, you were fine just the way you were, just the way you were. So yeah, but I grew up in a pretty family and everybody looked alike. And so yeah, but I share a lot about that because I don't want people to deal with what I dealt with. Yeah, I did. But you know what? I still see now I can pull out the good of it because everything that I thought and everything I went through back then, and every time I was teased, every time, you know, whatever, it all makes sense now because it made me who I am today. And so, and I have a story to share, and I'm able to speak to that young woman, that young girl, that older woman, or whoever that struggles with that self-worth. Sure. I'm able to tell them how I was able to overcome it. Yeah, let's all look at Wallace. That's him at about the same
That's
age.
L.B. Sure twin right there. That's L.B. Sure.
See, and he had uber confidence. He keeps saying he looked like L.B. Sure. I'm like, oh.
L.B. the best to ever do it.
So we were both delusional in a different way. Yeah, no, but I definitely don't be sad. Don't be sad. It all makes sense. And I had to go through it because it created who I am now. And I'm definitely walking in my passion. And I needed to be that person who went through. Don't be blowing his head up. But Nikki, do he look like L.B. Shore though? But they actually used to call him that, LB. I'm like,
Be really? Sure. That was my
or
nickname.
Be Sure. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Be Sure.
Sure my nickname.
But they probably was Be Sure. Like, you sure you look like it?
Mm-mm.
Let me leave.
Met LB. It's like I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. No. We looking at each other. Hey.
And I did on his birthday one year. I took him to meet LB Sure. Yeah, because he say that LB Sure is the best to ever do it. Now I did enjoy that one album. I did. But to say that L.B. Sure was the best to ever do it, the best to ever do what?
We know what he did.
The best to ever release one album with a couple of hits.
We know what he did.
I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, y'all, we are not going to keep you much longer. We've already gone 10 minutes over what we normally do, but we appreciate you guys. We love you all to bits and pieces, and just you guys showing up for us. Now, I used to say, you know, week after week, but it is day after day. Mm-hmm. It just really makes me feel good. And so I appreciate you all. We do not take any of it for granted. And you guys are the reason why we do what we do. And we want to keep on doing it. So
we want everybody else to just enjoy life and do what we do.
Yeah, I love each and every one of you. And so Tim isn't here. So hopefully everybody had their links dropped. If you didn't, if you can drop your own link or at least put your @handle so that other people can follow you, because I want to make sure, because we have some awesome content creators in here. Frugal Mama, Big Rooster, OCD-ish Chick, Lacey J, all some awesome creators that bring the heat each and every time they show up, and they love and have a passion for this as much as we do. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So y'all know the drill. I love each and every one of you and appreciate each and every one of you to bits and pieces. I want you to always love one another and always be kind, but never forget to live your life. L.Y.F.E. Love yourself first explicitly. And we'll see y'all next time in the hallway. Bye.